Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the season and the sign of Leo. Now, Leo precedes Cancer. So after we've done all of this emotional work in Cancer, then we come out with a deeper sense of who we are, which then allows us to go into this fire sign, which takes us into the ego. It takes us into the sense of self. It brings us into our creativity. It brings us into our passion. It brings us into how we want to validate who we are by expressing who we are, not only to ourselves, but also by being seen by others. So when we've done all of this boundary work in Cancer, it really helps us to understand and to feel and to come forth into the light of the sun, out onto the stage of life, and really express who we are. So this presentation here is going to give you a little taste of the essence of Leo, the essence of the sun, your own personal sun. How do you feel that sense of self-worth, self-love, the connection to your divine essence that allows you to maneuver from a space of self-validation, from self-worth, so that rather than having to put on a mask and put on a show in order to be what you think other people want you to be in order to be loved, you can truly fully come forward as who you actually are. Leo is also the sign of children, by the way. I'm glad that happened. Yes, ultimately, what Leo does is it helps us tap into the courage and the strength to bring our inner child forth and to allow that child to live with the joy, the exuberance, the creativity, and the individuality that it truly possesses in the most joyful, expressive, and passionate way. So I hope you enjoy this video that I've made for you today, and that it gives you a deeper sense of how you can identify with this aspect of yourself, how you can start to bring your consciousness into what your relationship to Leo energy is, and how you can consciously work on it if that becomes your desire. I hope you enjoy.
Welcome to Leo season. Welcome to the second fire sign in the Zodiac. Welcome to midsummer. Welcome to the season of the sun. It's good to be here. This is always such a powerful marker point in every year because it's the point where the sun is the closest to the earth. It's the point where the energies are the most alive, the plants are the most alive, our bodies are the most alive. And this is where we have the most illumination. And the symbolic reference to that for us is that this is where we get to see ourselves and be seen as we are. And so much of this is by virtue of the fact that we've gone through the lunar season. We've gone through the sign of Cancer. And as we went through the sign of Cancer, we had the opportunity to understand the inner workings of who we are, the unseen parts of us that are under the surface. And the more that we have the opportunity to better acquaint ourselves with the unseen parts of us, the more ready we are to greet the external part of us. And in so many ways, it's like going through the night and greeting the dawn. You have such a deeper understanding. If you've ever stayed up all night long, you have such a deep appreciation and understanding of the cycle of day and night, and how things look in the dark versus how things look in the light. And this is something that we get to experience in ourselves when we really start to understand the difference between the lunar nature and the solar nature. And this is also water and fire. And so what is that? What is it like when we go from a water sign into a fire sign? Well, I always find it to be very energizing and cleansing, because water seasons are always going to bring up that sensitivity, those emotional themes. Lots of I find them to be a little bit heavier, a little bit weightier. They take a little bit more out of you. Or really in so many ways, it's the difference between, treading water and dancing around fire, right? Very, very different feelings. But especially with Cancer to Leo, the waters of Cancer and the movement that it's meant to create in us, that ability to release and to become sensitive and to become so much more aware of ourselves and our origins, creates this cleansing effect that helps that fire energy to come through so much clearer, right? Cancer is about clearing away a lot of energy that we don't really need to hold on to anymore, because it's not really who we are. So we go through that process of release so that in Leo, we can be so much more of who we actually are. Now, the real key mystery here is this idea that masculine energy, as opposed to lunar energy, is not so much about doing as it is about truly being. Because when we are being who we are, when we are in this state of being, life responds to us. We think of this idea of masculine energy as going out and getting what we want. But the real secret behind it is knowing who you are and being that energy, radiating that energy. The earth and this interplay of the elements and the sun and the moon and all of it, this powerful, powerful symbolism is present that to me sums it all up, where we say, when the sun is shining and there are no clouds in the sky and it is a clear day, right? It is midsummer. All of life on earth, all of the natural life on earth turns towards the sun. By virtue of the fact that it is drawn to it. It is drawn to that radiation. It's drawing its life from it. The flowers turn towards the sun. The grass grows towards the sun. Because the sun is that all-pervading, powerful force that is vitalizing the life around it. And so we understand this idea that in order to attract what you want, you have to be what you want. And by that, we mean you need to become the embodiment of what it is that you seek. So when we truly tap into who we are and we express that from our hearts, even without doing anything, just being in that state of knowing who we are and radiating that, we're emitting a vibration that's causing life to respond to us. It also makes me think about how one of the things that I've learned and also been told and just seen as true is that whenever you go into a scenario, whoever has the strongest energy field, whoever has the strongest intention and knows how to hold it, they're going to dominate the energy in the room. And the sun asks you, like, how do you dominate the energy of your life? You know, is the real you the loudest person in the room? Leo gives us an opportunity to experience that. We don't get to really experience the fullness of who we are if we don't understand who we're not. And, because Leo, just like all of the other zodiac signs, has a shadow side, if you will. And a lot of the shadow side of Leo is the mask. Leo is really strongly associated with theater and drama, which can be a really beautiful or a really annoying part of Leo energy, depending on how it's being served up. But it also represents the part of ourselves that's going to put on a show when it doesn't feel like it's enough. And that's a really big theme that can come up with Leo energy. And I'm speaking from the awareness of my North Node in Leo, is that confidence to be who you are and confidence in who you are is so essential to wield this power, because without it, we become who we think people want us to be. And Leo can do that so well that it can even fool itself into thinking that that's who it is. Like, what is the boundary point that you need to stand at in order to be who you are in the midst of other people? And you can think of that, I think, in a lot of ways as like, I always like to think of like Leo as the performer and Cancer is the stage, right? Like, how much light and space do you need to be able to play the role that you were playing in life comfortably, for those that you are aiming to inspire? And that's, I think, another one of these key elements is that Leo wants to inspire. It's the part of us that feels called to bring joy and inspiration through charm and charisma and just the sharing of our hearts. So it can be a very difficult and deceptive part of us, again, if we don't know how to navigate the waters of Cancer. Because that avoidance, that sidestepping of Cancer becomes the masks of Leo. And that's a very lonely place for us to be, because it's so charged with this desire, to be seen and to be validated, that it can be too painful to acknowledge the inauthenticity that actually can keep us isolated from ourselves and from other people. So my initiation into Leo energy this year really has come by way of some very, very deep Cancerian lessons and understanding the level of surrender that's necessary to really let that happen. Like how still and calm you have to become to see the parts of you that aren't you, to see where you're to see where you're overcompensating, to see where you're overprotecting, to see where you're over dramatizing. And that really does temper this part of us that rises forth in the 5th sign of the zodiac, our 2nd cycle of fire.
Hey, Amy Moonsong here again. Just wanted to let you know that each one of these videos that you're watching today is part of a much larger course that spans the entire year, that goes through every season of the year, that goes through every zodiac sign of the year, and that teaches you about the archetypes associated with it, as well as the tarot cards that are connected to it. If you're interested in learning more about personal development through this medium of learning, please click the link below and I will reach out to you and give you more information on how you can join the group. We would love to have you.